So in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 cards you should pick up right now. Yes, the meta is actually really diverse, and that's kind of a good thing because players are allowed, a lot of flexibility in their deck choices. We have decks like Kashtira, Labyrinth, Branded, Runic, Sprite. I think that leaves a lot of room for potential tech cards. So in this video, I hope I can show you guys the ones you need to get right now, and also just try and analyze the meta so we will understand it a little bit better. Let's get into it. I really want to talk about power spells because they are going crazy right now in the meta. We have cards like Change of Heart, Enemy Controller, Mind Control, stealing Kashtiras and then turn them into your own Kashtira Rise Heart if a Shangri-La has activated its effect. Also enabling a Zeus in the easiest way possible. By stealing an Exceed, you can attack with it, go into your own Zeus, and that's how you break a Kashtira board. Considering how powerful the deck looks, I'm sure you've all seen the 9 zone block image. Let's start off with the best one, Book of Eclipse. I think everyone is now main decking this card, especially if you're going to a tournament. Expect a lot of Kashtira. However, in a non-Kashtira matchup, the card is not that great, and it's actually kind of awkward against Branded. We don't care if our monsters are face down, because we can still future summon with them. I guess the only tech option with Eclipse is, of course, Nibiru cannot tribute face down cards. So when you do that and combo with Eclipse, it's pretty nasty stuff. Lunar Eclipse does not lose to the Ash Blossom like Eclipse does. So that's obviously another interesting tech card. Change of Heart is at 1. Mind Control is at 1. They have Enemy Controller at 3. So going second as a Sprite or even a Kashtira player or a Sword Soul player, you can actually tribute your monsters. So when they attempt to negate it, they will dodge the negation of, say, an Imperm or Veiler and then proceed to steal a monster. 2 really prevalent cards right now. Thrust is actually super expensive. It's getting to that crazy range because going first, you can set broken trap cards like the Dimensional Barrier, or going second, just search a Triple Tactics talent. You name it, you can search anything in the game, which is pretty hilarious. You can even search the Upstart Goblin.
What did you just say?
Although I don't know why you'd want to do that. It's great as a pulse side card, and against Kashtira, it's actually the Kashtira counter. So if you really hate Kashtira,
Got my attention.
I highly recommend picking up Tactical Thrust as soon as you can. Dark Normal is not that relevant at the moment because, of course, Shangri-La's effect to block zones is lingering. Once it's applied until the monster leaves the field or face down, or stolen, or used as material for something else. So because of that reason, people are not teching the Dark Lily into the deck. So it raises the question, and why I made my previous video, is it time for the negate boards to come back to the game because of a lack of Dark Lily no more? And also, boosts the relevance of the Adventure Engine 2, which didn't get here on the ban list, which means now you have your Griffin that is definitely going to be able to interact with the opponent because Dark Lily is not played. Also, Thrust can search the Rival Mazes, starting your whole adventure line. One more card I really want to shout out, and I think I'm going to start testing this myself just to prove it works in this meta. Forbidden Droplets. Of course, Forbidden Droplets is one of the most legendary negation cards in the game, and I don't think anything will ever take its place because it allows the opponent not to respond depending on what cards you send to the graveyard. And of course, under a Rise and Shifter, it doesn't work because as cost, the cards need to go graveyard. They don't always have it on the field, and if you're not playing against Kashtira, it's amazing against everything else in the game. So decks that can plus really well off of the droplets, like the Rival Amazing decks, anything that has a spell that searches, you can actually send it as a Chain Link 2 droplets. I want to know if people start running it. That would be really cool to see in deck reports and things like that. The Sales Ban and other interesting spell cards that actually stop your opponent flat out. If I call the Nibiru, you can't activate Nibiru, so I'm free to block all your zones, and that's actually a tech card Kashtira decks are using. You can ensure that you can block all 5 zones and win the game. And then 2 more cards quickly I want to shout out as power spells of this format and what you can expect. Forbidden Lance and Forbidden Chalice, because of course Shangri-La is the MVP. You want to protect that card with the Chalice and Lance, obviously making it immune to the Book of Eclipse. Moving on to the second topic, and I'm really excited about this one, guys. Dragoons and DPE. Now, I've seen a lot of prevalent people in the community talk about how Dragoons is busted in this format. Triple Tactics Thrust can search them. It's a pretty good extender if you get nibbed because they have a monster in the field and you can search it. I'm just saying, guys.
Wait, what did you say? And
of course, as we move away from the Charisma format where everything triggers when they're popped by card effect, Dragoons and DPE start to look pretty tempting, guys, as a potential package. And I've heard people like MST TV talk about how we're in a control meta. If we're in a control meta, why are we not playing cards like DPE and Dragoons? Kashtira, everything they do targets, and I'm speaking from personal experience. When a Dragoon is on the field, it is so difficult to out, and pretty much the only out you have is a Eclipse after you've baited a negation or a Zeus, and getting to the Zeus is difficult and tricky against Branded. So there we go, guys. Red Eyes Dark Dragoons and Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. I think it's time for them to come back, and don't forget, they've both been reprinted. Make sure to pick those up before they spike up. This topic is really exciting. Of course, we talked about Branded and Kashtira, how they're the best decks in the room right now. So let's talk about ways to beat them. Maybe there's a few cards you didn't know existed, like the Summon Limit, Contact C, of course Lingarebo is a good anti-Kashtira card, and other cards like Dimensional Barrier. These are really easy strategies to use to beat those decks. Contact C is a really strong one, a level 6 monster, which I believe Branded has a tough time using as a material to get off the board. And then Kashtira is a level 6, they don't have rank 6 in the deck. In the back of my head, I'm thinking of Eldritch and how the Apophis cards are out right now from Photo Hypernova. I did speak about Dragoons before. Maybe Guru Control is back with cards like Summon Limit and potentially a deck that is going to stun the crap out of our opponents. We talked about control meta, so here we go. The cards to beat them is Denko Sekka. It's getting really popular right now because of Labyrinth, because of Runic, and the card is really powerful as a vanilla level 4. You can just summon it, have a continuous inherent effect applied. It's a really easy blowout card, and I think for most control decks, they need their back row to do anything. Even Labyrinth needs normal traps to activate. But if they can't activate, they're going to lose the game. So something to think about if you think Labyrinth is getting more and more popular. Of course, how can I forget the Traptrix structure deck? So popular and really powerful. I really enjoyed that structure decks now becoming meta level. We have the Dark World one, which is absolutely insane. And I think a lot of players are going to come back to the game, so you can preemptively counter those players with cards like Denko Sekka. But there's other ones too. Lightning Storm, which got reprinted by the way twice, makes for a really powerful and easy to use card. Road Decree is another option, but I'm not completely sure if you'd run it in a tournament setting, maybe at your locals if you anticipate a lot of Labyrinth and Traptrix players. And then lastly, of course, Evenly Matched as a super rare now got reprinted in the Traptrix structure deck. I think a lot of players are going to be on that card. Branded is not known for its negation. Kashtira is not known for its negation. So your Evenly Matched is going to trigger and destroy the whole board, or I guess banish the whole board into the Shadow Realm. Kurikara, Lava Golem, Sphere Mode, and Kaijus by themselves are of course really effective and such an easy out to the Kashtira and Branded matchups. So I'm assuming that every single control deck, Traptrix, Runic, Labyrinth, Dynamorphia, they're all going to be main decking or side decking these cards. So as a potential counter, if you're a meta player like Kashtira or Branded, you might want to try the Folk King, which I personally think is still a really good option, especially Kashtira as a level 7 vanilla. And when you're building a board, maybe don't go for the third one because Sphere Mode is so popular at the moment. The last category is my favorite because we get to pick up a magnifying glass and check out the next meta. The Aqua Dragon is a really popular one. Assault Synchro, these are cards from the OCG that you see in every deck list, so you can expect them to happen here. I think Purely is the best deck out of Amazing Defenders. Just expect those cards and those archetypes to hike up in price. Moving on, the mass Synchro support is coming. Of course, the Duelist Nexus pack has been announced with Manadote coming out in Cyberstop Access as well. I think synchros are going to be the best option going forward. So again, we're coming back to that synchro era. And while everyone's battling in this current meta and trying to figure it out, I think the quick expectations for next meta are getting the new build pack. We've had some archetypes being announced already. If you're a big fan of the dinosaur archetype wrecked from the anime, I think that is going to be the next evolution of the dinosaur deck. So if you're a dinosaur player and you like the strategy, then that might be something to pick up right now. There is just a mountain of synchro stuff coming out in this year. I wonder if that's the theme for this year. So of course, KFC Angel is a generic monster that doesn't even need tuners. We've reached a new level of Powercreep for the synchro mechanic. This might be the time to pick up those synchro related cards now, because also as of making this video, I think we just got announced a OCG Jack Atlas structure deck, and who knows what's going to be in there. And that's been the 5 cards you want to get right now. Of course, the meta is super diverse, so hopefully you're able to find some value in this. Expect a Utopia Kashtira follow-up video coming out soon. And that being said, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.